Welcome to my channel. This is where you have lots of devotionals, Bible studies, and encouragement through your faith walk. Now, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'll see you soon. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ifeoma Samuel. Thank you for joining me here today. If you're new, kindly click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that way you don't miss a new video when it drops. Today is our day 73 and we are going through Jeremiah chapter 51 all the way to Jeremiah chapter 52. The theme for today's discussion is the quiet prince. Okay, so when we get to that point, you'll know why we're talking about the quiet prince today. Now, there are quite a number of pocket instructions and pocket advice that we see in these two chapters. So let's go to Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 2. This is what God says. This is what God says about Babylon. And will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. So there are spiritual fanners. When you notice that everything around your life seems to suddenly go empty, there is a spiritual fanner going on. Now, some of these things that we find in the scriptures, we kind of think that they are ancient or they are of no importance in our personal lives. Now, what is going on in the lives of these nations that God is calling to judgment? It's very relatable to our personal lives. When things suddenly start to go awry and quickly change, it is important as a believer that you are fully aware, that we are alert to know that some of these things are not in the natural. Okay, now if you look at the people of Babylon, this is what their pride and their arrogance have brought upon them. Now look at Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 7 and 9. Although we talked about their pride in the previous videos, it says, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand and had made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Verse 8 says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Why? Forsake her, and let us go, everyone to his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven. There is no redemption at this point for Babylon, and is lifted up to the skies. Babylon's pride is called to judgment. Pride does not do anything good than to bring down whoever is found in working with the spirit of pride. What other reason? Okay, why is it that God is against these nations? Let's look at Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 17 to 18. It says, every man is brutish by his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. Now, every other thing that elevates itself against God is falsehood. It's not real, it's not true, it cannot save a soul. Okay, verse 18 says, they are vanity, the work of errors. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish. So all of those idols, all of the idols that nations and people worship in place of the living God shall perish. Amen. Now, if you go on, if we go on to Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 5, it says, for the nation of Israel is not forsaken, for Judah is of his God and of the Lord of hosts, though their land be filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. God still reserves a place of mercy, which I'm happy about. And yes, we shouldn't take the place of God's grace for granted, like the children of Israel did in the time past. Now let's look at the mission of the quiet prince. Now it brings us to our main talking point for today, the mission of the quiet prince. Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 59. This is where it all started. Now in 59, the word of Jeremiah the prophet commanded Seraiah, the son of Neriah, the son of Messiah, of Messiah, I like how that sounds, when he went to Zedekiah, the king of Judah, into Babylon in the 4th year of his reign. And this Seraiah was a quiet prince. So Jeremiah wrote a book. We know that Jeremiah did that. He wrote in a book all the evil that should come upon Babylon, even all these words that are written against Babylon. Now, in verse 61, and Jeremiah said to Seraiah, when thou comest to Babylon and shall see it, thou shalt read all these words. This is the mission of the quiet prince. Then thou shalt say, O Lord, thou hast spoken against this place to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, that it shall be desolate forever. 63, it says, and it shall be when thou hast made an end of reading this book, that thou shalt bind a stone to it and cast it into the midst of the Euphrates. Now, verse 64 finally says that thus shall Babylon sink and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah. Now, the mission of the quiet prince, when I was going through that, something came to my heart. You might say, oh, I'm an introvert. I am shy. I don't have social skills. God has a mission for even you. God has a mission for you behind the screen. Okay? So there is something for every one of us, regardless of our personalities in the house of God. When I read that he was a quiet prince, now imagine someone who is reserved and well withdrawn, asking that person to go in front of a nation and read that. That is huge. That is huge. And I love the fact that God uses every of our skills to meet his needs. Now, the consequences of sin, as we go further, we find that the consequences of sin, as usual, is grievous. Jeremiah chapter 52, verse 2, and he did that which was evil in his eyes. This was Zedekiah. Imagine Zedekiah at the age of 21, he began to reign. He reigned for 11 years. In the 11 years of his reign, he did nothing good than to double the evil that was already in existence. His predecessor, which was Jehoiakim, had done. So it is appalling that we have a king that continues in the way of his predecessor, who already has attracted the anger and the fury of God. If you go on to verse 8 of 52, it says the army of the, talks about how the army of the Chaldees or Chaldeans are going to come at this people. Okay, and if you go on to 10, 11, it goes on. Look at the evil that befalls Zedekiah. The king of Babylon slew his sons before him, that's verse 10, and slew the princes of Judah. The king did that. He terminated their lives. In verse 11, his eyes were put out. Why? He decided to walk in rebellion. He decided to go against the way of God. Verse 13 says, and burn. This is what Zedekiah did. No, this is what Nebuchadnezzar did, as the king of Babylon. And he burned the house of the Lord and the king's house and all the houses of Jerusalem and all the houses of the great men were burned with fire. Again, why? When a people decides to go against the will of God, when they decide not to listen to commandments or any form of advice or heed to the warnings of God, there is nothing that will be left other than destruction. Zedekiah's punishment was so grievous that when you read a story of a young king that had every opportunity to make things right, and he decided to do otherwise. So contrary to what a person like Hezekiah would have done, he decides to go the contrary. May the Lord bless the reading of his word. Thank you for joining me here. Now remember to click the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber yet. Share this video and let me know in the comments, how has your daily reading been so far? I'll see you back here in the next video. Take care.